This Red Sox Cup Series on NESN is brought to you by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. And today from Fenway, it's Red Sox Cubs Game 2 after an October-like Game 1, which saw the Red Sox hold on for a 5-4 victory. Hi, everybody. Great to have you with us at Fenway here this afternoon. I'm Dave O'Brien. My partner, of course, Jerry Remy. Garen Austin along in just a couple of moments. And, Jerry, it certainly felt like a lot more than just another game in April last night. It did have an October feel. And in the end, the Red Sox bullpen got real nasty.
They really did. It was a great night at Fenway. It really did feel like October baseball. And, you know, the Red Sox bullpen pitched like they were pitching in an October World Series game. It was unbelievable what they were able to do. Fernando Abad coming in. Now, he doesn't get used a lot in these situations, but in critical situations last night, 2 strikeouts on changes for Abad. Big part of the ball game. And then Kimbrel, who's been absolutely lights out so far this season, comes in. 2 breaking balls to get the first 2 strikeouts that he got on the night. And then he fires that fastball at about 99 to 100 miles an hour right by to get the final out of the ball game. Just a tremendous outing for the bullpen. And when you look at their numbers, look at the strikeout total. 7 total strikeouts out of the bullpen. That's impressive. When you get toward the end of the game, the less contact that you can have, bad things are not going to generally happen when you have strikeouts.
And, you know, you have to tip your cap to Drew Pomeranz, too. He wound up getting the win. He went 6 strong innings against a very, very tough lineup. So Game 1 lived up to the billing. We'll see about Game number 2. But one thing we saw last night, I think the fans really enjoyed this, a salute to the former Red Sox like Koji and John Lester and John Lackey, who are now pitching for the Chicago Cubs. Of course, those great memories of the 2013 championship. Right, all ready to go. Here's the Cub lineup brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. Schwarber will lead things off, and then Chris Bryant, who hit a colossal home run here last night. Rizzo at first base, Zobrist at second with Jason Hayward at right. Russell the shortstop, Montero doing the catching, Almora in center. John Jay is in the left field and batting ninth against the Red Sox starter presented by New England Audi dealers. Stephen Wright 1-2. Looking to bring down a very high ERA, 8.66, his first career appearance against the Cubs.
That last outing against Baltimore only lasted 3 2/3 in that game, giving up 9 hits and 4 earned runs. Trying to get things straightened out today. Or actually not straightened out, but knuckled down.
It's been a case of when his knuckleball doesn't knuckle, he's been really hit hard. 8 runs in an inning and a third against the Orioles. 9 hits and 3 2/3 his last start against Baltimore. That was in a 4-2 loss. So that has to be better here today against Chicago.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are 12th in the American League, 15 errors in 22 games. Marco Hernandez at third base, Xander Bogaerts the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, Mitch Moreland the first baseman, left to right, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, and Christian Vasquez doing the catching for Stephen Wright.
Umpires brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Bill Welke has the plate. Bruce Streckman at first, George Baker at second, and Mike Everett at third base. And ready for the first toss of the day to Kyle Schwarber. And that will be ball one, and we're underway. Now, half the fun of last night was watching the stands and what was going on between the Sox and the Cubs fans. Back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, it was a tremendous atmosphere at Fenway Park last night, and it'll be the same all weekend long.
Now, Schwarber had kind of a tough night, struck out 4 times. So he takes one high. Hitting .212 with 3 home runs.
Nobody in this lineup for the Cubs has ever faced Stephen Wright or his knuckleball.
And a 2-1 to the DH. And a bounding ball foul. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by Toyota. Visit compra2toyota.com to see Toyota deals not seen on TV.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
Wright trying to continue that strikeout trend from last night. And pop foul back out of play instead. In fact, the Red Sox pitching staff struck out 14 Cubs batters. Red Sox have been piling up the Ks. They are 4th in the American League in the strikeout category. Two and two on Schwarber. Bryant on deck. And a swinging bunt, but foul. The weather, it's downright muggy. Summer-like, like in the middle of summer. 84 degrees, mostly cloudy. So no sun to battle today.
Yeah, I think the players prefer that, especially the hitters, when you don't have the shadows to deal with for this 4 o'clock start.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes on Schwarber. One of their World Series heroes. And that one got by him for strike 3.
Well under control with that knuckleball. It starts out high and then it dips right at the end. It goes right over the middle of the plate. But the fact is, it had some downward action to it, as you can see right there. And the uppercut swing by Schwarber is not able to make contact for a strikeout.
Sends up Bryant, who blasted his 3rd home run of the season last night, totally out of Fenway Park, 449 feet. Prodigious power as he looks at strike 1.
The Red Sox go on the shift against him in the infield. 3 players on the left side, including Pedroia.
1 strike pitch. Flared foul. Quickly 0-2. Back to that home run cut last night. It was some swing.
Well, he got a high fastball and he just launched it over the monster seats out there in left field. That's a quick start for the Cubs.
Although Benintendi, with a swing of his own, tied it very fast in the bottom of the 1st inning. Red Sox would score 5 times. And did not score again the rest of the night as that game continued to tighten up and tighten up. Wound up in a dramatic finish. Craig Kimbrell striking out the last man with a tying run at second. Here comes Wright to bare hand and throw. A bad throw, and that one gets by Moreland and will skip up into the stands. And down to second is Bryant.
If you're watching Stephen Wright on this particular play, he could have actually taken a crow hop step to first base. He picks the ball up with his bare hand and then just releases it. He had time to get the man at first base, and the throw is going to be errant. It gets by Moreland and is a man at second base. I think if he gets himself set a little bit better that time, he makes a good accurate throw to first, but he didn't. That ball just took off on him as he made that throw, and that's a break for the Cubs, obviously.
E1 sends up Anthony Rizzo, 273 with 5 home runs. He was 1 for 5 last night. Really crowds the plate. High chopper. Moreland. Underhand toss for Wright at the bag. Out number 2, down to third is Bryant.
You know, you look at that last play from Stephen Wright, and when it hit the dirt, look at the mud on the baseball. I wonder if he grabbed that part of the ball and it just slipped out of his hand. But right now, right in front of home plate is very wet. They water that down prior to the ball game. And when that ball hit in that dirt right there, you can see the mud was actually caked onto the baseball.
So here's Zobrist with a man at third, 2 away. 215 with a pair of home runs. He was trouble last night, though. He came up with a couple of big hits late in the game. An RBI, a double. And he was the man who tore into that double that got by Moreland in the 9th inning, got him to second base with 2 down. But that's where he stood when the game ended. And that's in there for a strike. Zobrist, each of the last 2 years, has won a World Series ring with Kansas City and last year with Chicago. And the 1-1 will dive downstairs. First inning lately has been trouble for Wright. Bryant reaching on his error. Softly lined but foul off into the stands. And it's 2-2.
That knuckleball actually came and got back in the hands of Zobrist. Was able to hook it and foul it off, but pretty good movement on the knuckleball so far from Stephen Wright.
Stevens talked about feeling completely healthy. That hasn't been the problem. Coming back from that shoulder injury, he says that's 100%. He's still looking for that violent action on that knuckleball, and seeing a little bit more of that here in the first inning today. Struck out the first man. He should be out of the inning. Again, Zobrist continues to battle. 2-2.
Red Sox now go more into a shift against Zobrist. As you can see, Bogart's scrambling to get over to that second base position, and Pedroia back on the outfield grass.
Hernandez alone on the left side. Here comes the 2-2 to Zobrist. Well, with a fastball, but he missed with it. 3-2. This will be his 20th pitcher in the first inning, and the payoff. And he got him. He strikes him out. 2 Ks in the inning. Zobrist didn't think so. Arguing with Welke. Red Sox coming up. Bogarts, Benintendi, and Betts. Lineup brought to you by Toyota's website for deals. BuyAToyota.com. It'll be Bogarts, Benintendi, Betts 1, 2, 3, and then Hanley Ramirez the DH. Mitch Moreland at first, Dustin Pedroia at second, Jackie Bradley in center, Christian Vasquez second day in a row getting the catch, and Marco Hernandez at third base and batting ninth. And facing right-hander John Lackey, 1 and 3 with a 4.88 earned run average, back on the hill at Fenway Park.
Lackey trying to stop a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Dodgers, Milwaukee, Cincinnati his last time out.
Last season his first with the Cubs. Won his third World Series ring. One with the Angels, 2013 with Boston, 2016 with Chicago. And a 2-0 to Xander. Inside. Bogarts 1 for 3 to walk last night. And hitting .313. Still looking for that first home run. You know all about Lackey if you've been watching the Red Sox for several years. He works quickly. He throws a lot of strikes.
Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup for Lackey. Works at a good pace.
And the 3-2 to Bogarts. Last foul. John Lackey spent a little more than 4.5 years here in Boston, missing all of the 2012 year because of Tommy John surgery. And the 3-2 on the way to Xander. To the shortstop, Russell. In time to get him. One quick out.
The Cubs defense is 10th in the National League. 17 errors in 22 games. Kris Bryant at third base. Addison Russell the shortstop. Ben Zobrist at second. Anthony Rizzo at first. Left to right, John Jay, Albert Elmora Jr. and Jason Haywood, and Miguel Montero doing the catching.
Andrew Benintendi at .325 with his second home run last night, depositing a pitch from Arrieta into the bullpen. Goes after the very first one here, and it's rolled to Zobrist. 2 up, 2 down on groundouts.
When John Lackey's good, I mean, that's what he does. He gets a lot of ground ball outs, and the first 2 outs of the game coming on the ground for Lackey. First pitch swinging. It's Benintendi, gets him a little bit near the label of the bat, and the result, that little ground ball to second base.
So Mookie Betts about to face Lackey for the first time in his career. .307, 2 homers, 11 RBIs for the year. Doubled in the first inning last night as the Red Sox scored 5 runs when everybody was begging for offense and really charged Arrieta. And the count here 0-2.
And Lackey's fastball about 91 miles an hour, averaging that here in the first inning.
Hanley Ramirez on deck. No score in the first. Mookie Betts hit his first career home run against the Cubs in July of 2014. Inside. Lackey thought it was a strike.
Now, he's the kind of guy that he will take long looks in at the umpire if he thinks he's got a pitch. There's no question about that. Shakes his head. Thought he had a strike there.
And a 1-2 to Betts.
Take a look at 2 pitches ago. The one that Lackey thought he had for a strike. It was supposed to be a fastball away. It stays inside. Very close. And that's kind of the Lackey look right there. Right? When he thinks he's got one, he'll give you that long stare.
He's not afraid to let an infielder know who might boot one. 2-2. Second baseman Zobrist up and over, and that's a fast inning. Lackey still questioning the home plate ump Welke on that one, but the Red Sox go 1-2-3. By Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Your New England Audi dealers in the all-new 2018 Audi Q5. Plain Ridge Park Casino, 45 minutes from Boston. Ford Trucks, built Ford tough, the official truck of the Red Sox. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Top of the second, there was a fascinating exchange.
That's great.
Between John Lackey and home plate umpire Bill Welke as we went to the break. We'll show you that again. Popped up by Hayward. Here comes Hernandez coming on strong. Nice sliding play to retire him in foul ground. One man away. Back to the pitch that was in question.
Yeah, he thought he had this on the inside part of the plate. Now listen at the end of the inning when the inning's over. Lackey and Welke.
No answer. He just walks away.
Did you call that ball in? The umpire shakes his head yes, and he said, well, then you missed it.
And that's the end of that. That is quintessential John Lackey. He's a battler. Russell the batter here with the bases empty, one down, no score in the second. He's a .281 hitter. Yeah, that's John Lackey. And I really thought John turned a huge corner here in Boston during the postseason of 2013 when he walked off the mound in Game 6 here at Fenway Park. Got a giant ovation. He tipped his cap. The 0-2 up high for a ball, and you could tell that really affected him. It really touched him.
You know, he's a great guy. He really is. You know, the more you get to know him, he's really a nice guy, and he's a fierce competitor when he's on the mound. That was, you know, obvious in that clip. It's the very first inning, and it was a borderline pitch, but he wants everything. And you know, you heard the exchange between he and Welke. I thought that was great stuff.
And a 1-2 to Russell. Tried to wait on that, but he popped it foul.
I'll tell you another thing about that exchange, and it's a small thing, but Welke, the umpire, did the right thing. You know, he said, he just nodded his head yes, and then after Lackey said what he had to say, the umpire walked away. That's a smart thing to do. Now, if the pitcher keeps getting on him, you got big problems.
Shot to center field, but Bradley coming on as he dips down for it. 2 up and 2 down.
Well, Lackey's been around long enough to know when he turns around to go away, it's time for me to go away too.
Now, is that a veteran umpire and a veteran pitcher?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if let's say there's a 22-year-old kid on the mound, he's not getting that same thing.
Would not get away for it. The umpire probably jumped right back in his face.
John 38. And here comes Montero at 379 with 1 home run. He has been hot coming into this game. 11 hits in his last 18 at bats. Joe Madden did bring him up last night as a pinch hitter, but didn't get him into the game. He wound up burning him. He was announced. Then he hit Caesar for him.
Yeah, he burned a couple of guys in that game last night. He's only got a 3-man bench.
That's right. Now he has to use a designated hitter. And that's Schwarber. Wave and a miss. Down he goes. It's dancing for right here early. 3 strikeouts. No score in the second. Brought to you by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. And on a summer-like afternoon here at Fenway, Red Sox and the Cubs going after Game 2. No score. Lackey will get Ramirez, Moreland, and his buddy Dustin Pedroia. Speaking of buddies, great to see Kevin Youkilis throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Caught by Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, now a member of the Cubs organization, special advisor.
Hanley has 3 at-bats in his career against Lackey. He's 1 for 3, and one of them's a home run. Overall, he's at .250. And the 0-1 ran in. Hanley with a 4-game hitting streak. Last night actually got his 2nd game-winning RBI of the season. That came in the 1st inning. Which always sounds weird. That's a 2-hopper to short. Russell guns for out number 1. Well, we saw David Price out here today throwing, and for more on that, let's toss it down to Guerin.
Hi, Obi. Well, big day for David Price. He faced live batters today. Price threw a 30-pitch, 2-inning simulated game. John Farrell said it was a solid work day for him, and he felt good afterward. Now, depending on how he feels in the next few days, Price will throw a light bullpen on Monday, followed by a 45-pitch simulated game on Thursday. And guys, Farrell reiterated there is still no timetable, but today was definitely encouraging progress.
All right, Guerin, thank you very much. It looked good, looked smooth. As Moreland gets in, 296 with 2 home runs.
That's a good day for David Price. Anytime you can get out there and be able to throw from that mound again, you know, you got to feel good about it. Now we'll see how he responds over the next day or so.
Smack past first base, but a foul ball backhanded by Rizzo.
Aimed it right at the bag on the southbound side.
Moreland with experience against Lackey. He's 4 for 15 against John. Lackey, very important guy for the Red Sox in the postseason of 2013. He went 3-1. And he was clutch in Game 3 of the ALCS in Detroit, beating Verlander and the Tigers 1-0. That's where that series really turned.
That was the game that Napoli hit the home run.
Yeah, which hasn't come down yet.
Yeah, that was a moonshot.
It was the only run of the game off of Verlander. Lackey was terrific. 6 2/3, 8 Ks, didn't walk anybody. Red Sox would win that series, go on to win the World Championship.
Well, a little different look from Lackey that time, and he didn't like that call. Dropped down to the side a little bit with the fastball. A little different arm action right there. Side arm from Lackey. And that could have been called a strike.
2-2. Check swing. No swing, says Mike Everett. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Came back with a changeup.
Take a look from the side, and definitely no swing right there.
Now Lackey making a little statement here, really taking his time on the backside of that mound. He's at odds right away with Bill Welke in these first 2 innings, and now the 3-2. Jammed him. Time for a twisted but true fact. Moreland with 12 doubles in April, the most of any Sox hitter in the team's first 22 games. George Kell also had 12 in 1953. Twisted tea tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. Outside, and he walks him. Long at bat for Moreland, and he's off to first base.
Man, good job by Moreland laying off that pitch just a little bit on the outside part, off the outside part of the plate.
And that'll bring up Dustin Pedroia. A little early duty for Pedroia today, catching the ceremonial first pitch from Kevin Youkilis, and we heard the Ukes all over the ballpark again. Great to see him back. As Pedroia hitting .261, takes strike 1. Back in that 6th spot. Red Sox have their first base runner. Nothing in the 2nd.
Up to 93 that time for Lackey on the fastball. Foul back by Pedroia. And quickly down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Good numbers against John Lackey.
Jackie Bradley on deck. 1 man out, 1 man on. Oh, 2 coming. Solid base hit into left. He continues to hit John Lackey. Moreland up to second. First and second for JBJ.
Now, one thing about Dustin Pedroia, he can get on top of a high fastball. That ball was up in the zone about letter high, and watch him get his hands above the baseball and put this ball right on the ground. Top spin ground ball down that third base line.
Did you ever feel like you had any kind of an advantage when you faced a guy you had played behind?
Not really. No, I didn't. I had one opportunity to do that. You know, that was obviously when I got traded from the Angels. But no, I didn't, to be quite honest with you, because you had no idea how they were going to approach you.
Red Sox with a first base hit. Jackie hitting .229. He needs a hot stretch. 1 home run that came in Baltimore. That's in for a strike. Now the Yankees won again today. They beat up on the Orioles 12-4. But they were down 8 runs yesterday and rallied to win in extra innings 14-11. So Baltimore and New York now tied for the lead inside the American League East as that one's trickled foul.
Good job by Bradley fouling off that changeup right there. That was tempting to swing at, but it was down and away, and he's able to make contact to foul it off and see another pitch. Here's the changeup. You can see it spinning down and away from Bradley. He just gets a piece of it.
Bradley snapped an 0 for 11 skid with a first inning RBI single last night. And the 0-2 from Lackey will not count. Late time granted there to Jackie Bradley.
That's what happens, you know, when the pitcher holds on to the baseball for a long time. The hitter gets impatient and eventually calls timeout. Now the umpire doesn't have to give him timeout. Lackey holding it a long time with the man at second base. So finally the timeout is given. It was verbally given by Bradley to the home plate umpire.
Base hit. Here comes Moreland. They're going to wave him in. Jay up and throwing. Play at the plate. No tag. He's in to score. And the Red Sox lead it 1-0.
Well, we talked about the foul ball that Jackie Bradley fouled off on a changeup that gave him another chance. Now he goes to left field. Here's where scouting reports come in. Moreland doesn't run very well, but the Red Sox know that Jay doesn't throw very well from left field. So they bring Moreland home, and the throw wasn't even close.
Bradley picking up his 6th RBI. Second game in a row he's done damage early. Vasquez next, hitting .481. And has now hit safely in 5 in a row. He's 8 for his last 19. He is really locked in. Pedroia at second, Bradley at first. 1-0 Boston. Remember, too, Vasquez catches Eduardo Rodriguez will pitch on Sunday night.
Yeah, there's a good chance he might play again tomorrow.
Last night, 2 for 4 with an RBI. The 1-1. Softly hit foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, talk about small things in a game, but Jackie Bradley had 2 strikes on him. He gets this nasty changeup away and just taps it foul, right? So he gives himself another chance. Then he comes back and picks up the base hit. I mean, you know, it's a little thing, a foul ball. Doesn't mean very much, but it kept it at bat alive for him, and then he gets the base hit to drive in a run.
He spoiled that pitch. Fastball at 93 to hang in there. Marco Hernandez on deck. A walk and back-to-back singles. And put the Red Sox in front early. Off the outside, 2-2.
Oh, this is something new for John Lackey. He's done it twice now in this game where he's dropped down to the side with the fastball. Never saw that when he was a member with the Red Sox. Side out. Trying to pick up that outside corner. Totally different look.
The 2-2 to Vasquez. Fly into right field. Hayward backing up. Taps the mitt, says he has it. Pedroia will tag as the throw comes into second. Dustin Pedroia scooting on down to third with 2 down. So Hernandez will be next. Yeah, it's the kind of thing you see when a guy gets into his later 30s.
Yeah.
And he's looking for another way to fool a hitter.
That's a great thing to do. Drop down to the side, throw a couple of fastballs down there, let him see that, then maybe snap off a breaking ball from that angle.
Hernandez 289. He was 2 for 4 last night in a Red Sox victory, singling twice. Sits safely in 5 of his last 6 games. He torches that one but foul for strike 1.
Sox fans, tickets are still available for tomorrow night's game against the Cubs. Come watch the Sox take on the World Series champs. Visit redsox.com/tickets.
Red Sox ahead 1-0 here in the second. Opportunity to add on with Pedroia 90 feet away. Step off and toss and back in Jackie Bradley.
Yeah, one option you have in this situation is the potential double steal. Now, if they throw through, if you're the runner at first base, you stop and try to get caught in rundown so you can get that runner from third home. A lot of times that happens with 2 strikes.
Lackey a lot more deliberate with men on base. And he misses. 1-1. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Eduardo Rodriguez against Kyle Hendricks in the last game of the series. And back come the Baltimore Orioles for the rematch. 4-game series with the Birds. Towards short, Russell up and over to get him at second base to retire Jackie Bradley, and that is it. But the Red Sox are on the board here 1-0 against Lackey and the Cubs. now honoring the '07 Red Sox World Championship, and in game number 23 the Red Sox would lose 3-1 to New York. Jorge Posada homered. He drove in 2 runs for the Yankees. Mike Lowell knocked in the only run for the Red Sox. So we continue to salute that championship. Very funny guy there, Mike O'Malley. And a talented actor too. Taken in the ball game last night. We saw Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam and a number of New England Patriots and other celebrities here. And that one will miss inside on Almora. 282 with 2 home runs. Hit one last night.
Where is Bill Murray?
I was asking the same thing. Isn't he supposed to be here? You would have thought. As that one's fouled off himself. Well, he was at every game through the postseason. That's for sure. Loves his Cubs. He's got to be off doing a film, right? If he's not here.
Got to be.
Three balls, 1 strike. They say most of those great funny lines in Caddyshack, he ad-libbed them.
Wouldn't surprise me.
They were not in a script.
From his Saturday Night Live days.
Right. Line shot and a base hit. So Almora's on. First hit against Stephen Wright today for Chicago. And that'll send up John Jay, who's in left field today. He pinch hit last night. He's swinging a good bat, hitting .394. So Almora aboard. Red Sox ahead 1-0. The sun has made an appearance here for the first time in several hours. Wright struck out 2 men in the first inning. He committed an error, but he pitched around that. And he struck out Montero in the second inning. And he's throwing strikes today. Might be 2. Pedroia shovels to Bogarts 1 on the first. Double play. 4-6-3.
Those are the kind that infielders love when the ball is taking you to the bag. Watch Pedroia going to second base. He just gives him a nice underhand flip, and it becomes very easy from there. Bogarts with contact with the bag over the head of Almora going in there, and 2 quick outs.
Well, so far this trip to Boston has not been real fun for this man, Kyle Schwarber, who has struck out 5 times in the first 2 games. Struck out in the first. Red Sox again with a shift, moving Hernandez over to the right side. Well, that one almost screwed himself into the ground with that swing, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he's got a big uppercut swing, and you know he just goes for the downs. It looks like on every swing.
0-2 coming. The time he did not offer. Bryant on deck. Yeah, he's just loading up to try and hit it 450 feet. Lunging and a pop-up into left field. Benintendi has plenty of time, and that'll do it. Wright faces only 3 men. He gets a double play. 1-0. The Red Sox. 13 right now, but he was magnificent in the World Series there in Game 6. Fired up, and of course we talked about the tip of the cap to the crowd. That had to be a very, very special moment for him. And then Koji finished it up against the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Red Sox win the World Series. Koji here, of course, as well, along with John Lester. And Lackey back at it now, top of the order, Xander Bogaerts. Alex Beard joining us from 108 Stitches in the Boston Globe. Always great to see you.
Great to be back here. Thanks.
You have a wonderful story about Andrew Benintendi and the interest the Cubs had in him. Of course, a lot of people did, but why he wound up with the Red Sox.
Yeah, understandably, a lot of people in the industry did view Benintendi really highly coming out of that sophomore year at Arkansas. He was the Golden Spikes winner, best college player in the country that year. But still, he ended up going to the Red Sox at number 7 overall. The reason why he ended up with the Red Sox instead of the Cubs, who were picking 9th that year, is because the Cubs swept the Red Sox that year in Fenway Park. Had the Cubs lost one of those 3 games, they and the Red Sox would have finished the year with identical records, and the Cubs would have had the tiebreaker. So had the Red Sox beaten the Cubs 1 out of those 3 games, Andrew Benintendi would have been drafted by the Cubs, who would have had the number 7 pick.
Fly ball, that's well struck. Hayward racing back to the track, heading to the wall. It's going to be off the bottom of the fence. It kicks by him. Xander rounding second. He wants third. He's going to get there. And he slides in with a triple. Right to the base of the fence there in deep right field, and the Red Sox have a man 90 feet away.
You know, we see Bogaerts go to the opposite field a lot, but not usually this deep. He gets a high fastball up and away and takes it way up over the head of Hayward. Hayward going back on that ball, and I think he misjudged that a little bit. It was not familiar where that fence was, and Bogaerts continues into third base with a leadoff triple.
You're absolutely right that that kind of opposite field power is something that we've very rarely seen from him in the big leagues. He used to show it in his first couple of years of pro ball in single-A Greenville, high-A Salem, and that's why when you heard all those projections about Bogaerts as a 20, 25, 30 home run hitter coming up through the minors, it's because he had that ability to stay on the pitch and drive it out. He mostly shoots those line drives for singles in the big leagues, but that was interesting.
So it brings up the aforementioned Andrew Benintendi, who's 0 for 1 today.
I think that kind of surprised Hayward out there too, because they generally play pretty shallow against Xander on the off field.
And he's a 3-time Gold Glover out there. The 2-0 from Lackey, and that hits the corner. Second baseman backed up, so if he pulls one to second, Xander can come walking home here. Red Sox in front 1-0 in the third. Sox double their lead.
Benintendi does a good job on a changeup here by Lackey. The ball's got to be away from him. Look how he reaches out. He's almost in a squat, making contact with that. And the throw way offline. We've seen a couple of poor throws from the outfielders in this game. Look at where this pitch is, almost down on the ground. His backside's completely out. He extends his arms and gets the ball deep enough to get a run home.
That's one of the things that's unique about him. His ability to get just about any pitch into the air is part of the reason why, as a little guy, he's able to slug way beyond what your expectations would be. He just has that knack for managing to get the ball on that little bit of an upswing, driving it somewhere.
Well, that's great situational hitting, because the thing in a hitter's mind with a man at third base is get the ball in the air in the outfield somehow. And when you can take a ball that's 4 inches off the ground and be able to do that, that's pretty impressive.
Still have yet to identify that one zone that he's clearly vulnerable in as a hitter.
Haven't seen it yet.
That's the reason why when you talk to scouts about him, they think that's a potential batting champion. He just has such good plate coverage, so many zones where he can do something.
He's such a confident young hitter. At his age, to know what he does so well. I was chatting with him in the clubhouse today and about the home run off Arrieta, and it really just kept carrying and carrying. And he said, yeah, I did think I got it. You know, put it into the bullpen. He knew he put a good swing. He got jammed a little bit on it, but was still able to hit it out of the ballpark.
And even a couple days ago, he said, oh, no, it's okay. We're going to start hitting some home runs. The weather will get warmer, and we'll do it. Next day, it's warmer. He does it.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Mookie Betts. Back to the home run last night against Arrieta.
I wasn't quite sure when he made contact whether it had enough.
That's what he got a kick out of. with the police officer's arms in the air, and you know, he knew all about the David Ortiz home run, and Torrey Hunter tumbling into the bullpen. And a chopper foul by Mookie Betts. Red Sox in front 2-0. Did you see Price throw today?
I was there for Price's outing. He's in that building up arm strength phase, but the fact that he's on the mound against hitters, you know, you're not looking for a guy who's going to look like he's ready for a major league game. You're looking for a guy who's able to throw his pitches in the strike zone and start kind of that build up to the point where he'll be what they need him to become later.
Fly ball into center field. Almora again, and that is out number 2. I know fans are maybe a little bit frustrated, wondering, okay, what's the timetable on David Price? There's no set date for him to return. It seems to be a very slow process. What do you say to that?
It is an evolving one. They had been pretty hopeful, I think, at the initial time of the injury and in those first couple of weeks that he might be able to get back in early May. That now looks pretty clearly unrealistic. In a best case scenario, you still need, you know, a good probably 3-4 rehab starts, and that's with more work on the side at Fenway Park beforehand. So, you know, if they're able to see him by late May to early June, I think that they would be pretty happy with that at this point.
You know, as somebody who's been through some injuries, those timetables, I can't stand to hear those, because you just don't know. You don't know from one performance when you go out there to the other how you're going to respond to that workout.
It sets you up for artificial failure.
Oh, there it goes. High deep drive left field. Kiss it goodbye. Completely out of Fenway Park for his 2nd home run of the season. That might have gone deeper than Bryant's home run. We'll see on the tail of the tape.
That was absolutely crushed by Ramirez. 2nd home run he's in his career off John Lackey.
That was majestic.
Drop down to the side. That fastball stays inside. It's supposed to be away. And waiting for it was Hanley Ramirez. Wow.
He has been demolishing the baseball this week, I think.
He has been.
It hadn't shown up in his statistics thus far, but he's been hitting the ball really, really hard on a consistent basis. And you kind of get the sense that there's a hot streak that's maybe coming right pretty soon.
For every Red Sox home run this season, Speedway donates $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. Visit your Boston area Speedway in April. Use your Speedy Rewards card when you purchase $3 of in-store merchandise, as that one is lined and caught. But no one's going to catch that unless they're on Lansdowne. That home run. 3-0. Red Sox have the lead. Question focusing on the 1967 Impossible Dream before winning the pennant. When was the last time the Red Sox advanced to the World Series? Text 1 for 1929, 2 for 1946. Your answer goes to 536 536. Message and data rates may apply. One message per vote. So it's on the fourth inning, 3-0 Red Sox over the Cubs. We got the tail of the tape on Hanley's home run, 469 feet.
That beats his old record, right?
Of 468, beat it by a foot, which had been the longest home run in the last couple of years here. Bryant, who hit one 449 yesterday, 0 for 1. He's reached on an error by the pitcher. Meanwhile, Stephen Wright has been really good today in his first 3 innings, giving up just 1 hit. Fly ball on the move. Benintendi not going to get it. It drops into the alley. He cuts it up. Benintendi firing to second. Here's the dive, and Bryant is in with a double. Well, he takes big, long strides to get to second base.
Now, as a big kid, you know, and just a beautiful swing. Grabs that knuckleball right there, stays down with it, and drives it in the gap. But another good play by Benintendi to cut that ball off and get it in quickly. But the head first slide. And this is just a pretty swing by Bryant. Look at the head discipline down on the knuckleball right there, and knows he's got to go hard to get into second base for a 2-base hit here at Fenway, but he gets there.
Here's Anthony Rizzo, 0 for 1 with a comebacker. He was 1 for 5 last night in Game 1. Anthony's great grandfather is from Sicily, so that connection allowed him to play for Italy in the World Baseball Classic several years ago. Of course, a product of the Red Sox farm system. Seen a lot more beach balls all of a sudden as the weather has improved. And the 0-1 pitch to Rizzo, that unusual batting style, got jammed there. And the count 0-2.
Yeah, we highlighted that last night in the game. If you watched, where he holds his hands, and his hands are basically at his belt buckle. But they do get up into a hitting position. But that's how he starts. Doesn't matter where you start. It's where you are in contact.
He has been a big RBI man the last couple of years. Last 2 seasons, a total of 210 runs batted in. Become a big star for the Cubs. There's a high fly deep to right field. Betts. Back he goes, and she is out of here. Rizzo for the 6th time this season. That's a 2-run shot. And the Red Sox lead is 3-2. That's when you really hear how many Cub fans are here.
Wow, that dips right into his happy zone right there. The knuckleball starts high, but watch where it comes down. Below the belt, and Rizzo all over it. And he knew that right away. The conversation between Zobrist and the home plate umpire going on right now, and I think it's from the last at bat.
Yeah, when he struck out looking.
Yeah.
So he's 0 for 1. Milwaukee's really been hearing it from the Cubs. Slap behind the back. That's a fair ball. Moreland with the backhand. He'll race to the base and get him. 1 man out. That'll send up Hayward. Tell you what, that wind is gusting.
Yeah, blowing out toward the bullpen area. It's amazing when the weather warms and how different this ballpark plays.
Rizzo doesn't have to worry about getting wind to aid his home runs. He's tremendously strong. He's hit 6 this year, but that's certainly where it's gusting. Out to right. Hayward now. He's 0 for 1 with a pop foul to the third baseman. He went 1 for 4 last night. He struck out 3 times, all on the curveball of Drew Pomeranz. That knuckle curveball. Drew actually threw twice as many curveballs as fastballs last night.
He had a good one last night going against the Cubbies. No question about that. He almost always comes out there with a very good curveball.
Yes. A lot of first pitch strikes too. He's been tough against the Cubs for 2 consecutive years. This is a 3-2 game. Hanley Ramirez with an incredibly long home run at 469, and now Rizzo has followed by knocking one over the bullpen.
First fastball of the day right there on the 3-0 count.
And that's going to be ball 4, so Hayward is aboard. He'll take the walk.
Enjoy the Fenway experience with your group in 2017. Red Sox group outings are the perfect way to entertain your clients, boost employee morale, school outings, and team outings while taking in an unforgettable event. Visit redsox.com/groups for more information.
Zober is still looking unhappy. Runner at first base for Addison Russell, the shortstop. 0 for 1. He's flied out to center. We're being told that the home run that Hanley Ramirez hit is the longest in the major leagues this season. 469 feet. Machado hit one yesterday against the Yankees that went 466. Wright got a double play ball last inning. Waved at it, missed, and the count 1-1.
See if the Cubs try to run against Wright. You know, a lot of guys that can run love to go against the knuckleball pitcher. Hayward at first base has 1 steal on the season, caught twice, and a little throw to first to let him know we have your attention.
Vasquez has caught 3 out of 5. Christian Vasquez behind the plate here this afternoon. 3-2 Boston. And a 1-1. Popped him up short right. Mookie Betts sauntering in, and there are 2 down. Think Energy, powering Fenway, and the smart choice to power your home. Visit thinkenergy.com to enroll today. Miguel Montero, the catcher, next. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Right so far with 3 Ks in the book, and he's walked a man. Montero has some power. 33-year-old left-hand hitting catcher. Formerly with Arizona, hit 18 home runs for them in 2011 and drove in 86 runs. And back in Hayward on the dive.
Now, looked like he was trying to get a little extra on that one, trying to get another step.
Runner holds, and it's high for ball 1. Cubs had their parade to celebrate the World Series in Chicago, and 5 million people showed up. It was one of the, I think, top 7 gatherings of humanity in one place in history. As that one misses, but barely, for ball 2. Everybody wanted to see that. After 108 years between championships. The 2-0. That found the mark for a strike.
That was a crazy knuckleball. That one started out inside, came back to the inside corner. Almost like a 2-seam fastball. Watch this ball go inside, then come back. It's like a frisbee.
Right back at it. 2-2. Hayward getting his lead at first base. He's holding. And it's spoiled. Knocked foul by Montero. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Red Sox. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Cubs. And the 32-year-old from California delivers. High fly to left field, but it hangs up. Benintendi in on it to retire the side. Anthony Rizzo strikes with a 2-run homer, and this one tightens up in the 4th inning. Today is the 30th anniversary of Roger Clemens' first 20 strikeout game. 3-1 over Seattle. 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks. He tied the American League record of 8 consecutive Ks too. Saw the attendance there, only 13,000 in the ballpark. On that night as Pedroia gets in, underway in the bottom of the 4th. 3-2 Red Sox leading the Cubs.
It was one of those cold April nights, and it was kind of dank here at the ballpark that night.
Celtics were also playing at the same time. That's in there for a strike. So Pedroia with a base hit and a left, his first time up. He'll be followed by Bradley and then Vasquez. On one hop to Russell. The shortstop steadies and gets him.
Roger that night just absolutely incredible with his fastball blowing people away. I had the fortunate job of doing his second 20 strikeout game, which is against the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium.
That's amazing to think there were 2 of them.
Yeah.
I remember watching Kerry Wood with that frisbee slider of his. Absolutely unhittable. Watching that on television. You got a chance to see it in person with the Rocket. Jackie with an RBI single in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 1. It's really something to watch an event like that, a historical game like that, like a no-hitter or perfect game. You really do get a sense early in the game oftentimes that a guy has unhittable stuff. A swing and a miss, and down goes Jackie Bradley.
Yeah, no, momentum kind of builds as the game goes on. You know, it was strange watching that game in Detroit because, you know, early in the game, say, well, you know, he's piling up a few strikeouts. All of a sudden, they come in more regular, and then all of a sudden you look up, there's 15, 16 on the board, and you're going, wow, you got a chance to see it again.
Yeah. Vasquez 0 for 1 with a fly to right field. Red Sox ahead here 3-2. And a 5-game hitting streak for the Red Sox catcher.
See where Rizzo's playing off the line against Vasquez. He hits a lot of balls in that hole over there between first and second, so they got Rizzo pulled way off the first base line.
Nobody on and 2 men out. That's foul away. Hernandez on deck. One more left for the Cubs tomorrow night. And the Red Sox invite the Orioles in for 4 games before Boston goes on the road to Minnesota and Milwaukee. Cubs will be headed home after this series. There's a base hit to center field. Vasquez continues to stay red hot. A 6-game hitting streak.
Yep, 6 games. He gets the slider from John Lackey and takes it right back up the middle, right over the head of John Lackey. So a couple of quick outs. No 1, 2, 3 inning as Vasquez, good solid contact over the right shoulder. And up the middle.
We'll bring up Hernandez, who's 0 for 1 today. If you missed it last night, Red Sox won a thriller here, 5-4. Terrific ball game. Hung on at the end. Kimbrel with 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning. He did allow a double, but then struck out the last man to retire the side in the ball game. In a raucous environment here, Pomeranz got the win. The bullpen had a very large say in it. Vasquez on with 2 away. Fly to the left. Jay turning around now. He'll play it off the wall. Vasquez to third and stopping there, and it's a walk-in double for Hernandez, who continues to hit.
Well, that ball left the bat. I wasn't sure it had enough to get off the left field wall, but it did. Opposite field stroke there by Hernandez. On a breaking ball, a slider that was away from him. John Jay out there gives him that up on that ball early. It didn't hit very high off the wall at all. And you see the location of the pitch, the inside out swing. Now watch Jay go back on this, and he just turns and takes for granted, I think, that it's going to hit a little bit higher off the wall than what it actually did.
May have given up on that too early.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Fouled back by Xander Bogaerts, who has tripled and scored and also grounded out.
Again, that's not being familiar with foreign territory out there.
So the Red Sox have 2 men in scoring position. Vasquez at third, Hernandez at second. Base hit could mean 2 more. Check swing foul. 2 strikes on Xander Bogaerts. He's going to get a new bat.
Get a new bat, put a little pine tar on it. Get expert emergency care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Stand. First aid station located behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Visit bidmc.org.
Bogaerts for the season in 7 day games, hitting .333. Red Sox have been a good daytime team. Right now with a record of 12-10. Second and third with 2 gone, and the 0-2 from Lackey.
Oh, 2 changeup that time from John Lackey, down and away. I notice Haywood out in right field is giving Bogaerts a little bit more respect this time as he's playing him much deeper. You mentioned the wind, the day blowing out in that direction.
The triple got over his head in the 3rd inning. And a 1-2. Stopped by Montero in the runner's hole. Talking about the Red Sox in the daytime, the last 24 day games, the Red Sox are 21-3 at Fenway Park.
That means the other team's having a good time on the road in Boston.
Maybe a little too much. Enjoying the restaurant scene here in Boston. Lackey with a 2-2. Swung on and missed. He got him. And Lackey gets out of the inning, stranding 2 men in scoring position. Red Sox still on top 3-2. Live right after the game. TC, Dennis Eckersley, and Steve Lyons break it all down. You'll hear from Stephen Wright and John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever, who? WB Mason. And another Hall of Famer in the house.
Carlton catcher.
The great Carlton Fisk taken in the game. We claim him in New Hampshire, even though I think technically he was born in Vermont across the border. But in New Hampshire, we could care less.
I think he feels New Hampshire is home.
Now Mora leading things off here. Ground ball and a hop for Hernandez. Plenty of time to get him. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Talk about a methodical guy, Carlton Fisk. You know, we used to live in the same development when I first got traded to Boston. Freddie Lynn was also in that development, so we used to carpool in together. And Pudge was late for everything. He was like, you know, not late, but always like the last second. So I'd pick up Freddie. We go to Pudge's house. We walk in. He's just sitting down to have lunch. And it's like time to go to the ballpark. And he's in absolutely no rush.
No hurry.
None.
In there for a strike on Jay.
Which, with my patience, obviously drove me right up the tree.
Not to say, but you were there while he was having lunch. It was 10 o'clock in the morning.
No, this is back in the old days. We used to go in later. I think we were supposed to leave at 3 o'clock, and he's just sitting down to have a big spread at 3 o'clock before the game. And like Freddie and I are looking at each other like, what are we going to do? Do we leave or do we wait for him? 0-2 to Jay, who's hit into double play. Fouls that one at the plate.
was some of the stuff you guys talked about on the way into the ballpark? Three of you guys.
Different stuff, you know, not always baseball.
Not always baseball.
Not always baseball.
Not like the pitcher you're facing that night.
Nah, not really. You know, a lot of that was taken care of in the clubhouse. Just pretty much what you did last night and how's the family, stuff like that.
How was lunch, Pudge? 0-2. He chased that one and foul tipped it, and Vasquez could not grip it.
Oh, he threw him a four-seam fastball that time and just foul tipped it. Tried to elevate the fastball. You see Vasquez, he wants it upstairs. You don't see that often with Stephen Wright, but they almost got the strikeout.
Into the dirt on Jay. On deck, Schwarber. It's really been a day where the sun has been playing games, ducking behind the clouds and then coming out again. As you said, I think everybody, as far as the players are concerned, they loved it when they got
Oh yeah, they much prefer cloudy day games. No shadows, no glare.
Back at Wrigley Field these days, the Cubs play about half of their games in the daytime. But still a lot of day baseball for Chicago. 1-2. Fly ball center field. Jackie Bradley, plenty of time over the shoulder for the second out.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.com for details. I'm struggling with the promos today. I've butchered 2 of them in a row. I think the rest should go to Dave today because I'm not having.
Right.
I just don't feel it.
I'll take them if you want. I really don't think they're that bad, to be honest with you.
Well, the last one was awful. I was just doing 2 words I completely messed up.
Yeah, that was not good. Schwarber here, he has struck out and flied out to left.
I got one more Fisk story for you that kind of gives you the feeling of the intensity between the Red Sox-Yankee rivalry. I might have told you this one before.
The 1-1.
We were playing the Yankees, and Mickey Rivers was a former teammate of mine with the Angels. And Mickey came over to, in those days, everybody took infield. So after they finished infield, he came over to say hi to me.
2-1 to Schwarber and hammered foul.
And Pudge saw Rivers come over to talk to me, and we were just reminiscing a little bit about the Angel days. And after the conversation over, Fisk called me over just like this with his finger. He says, I'm going to tell you something. He said, we don't talk to Yankees around here. And he was dead serious. Dead serious. I said, now I know this stuff's pretty serious. He didn't like any Yankee. I mean, none of them.
That showed up a couple of times.
Yeah.
Check swing, and that is in there for strike 3. That becomes the 6th time that Schwarber has struck out in this series. Red Sox up by 1. Presented by AAA, we hear from Red Sox manager John Farrell on the state of the Sox, and some friendly faces make their return to Fenway. That's tomorrow at 6 right here on NESN. At the midway point, Stephen Wright with a 3-2 lead. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Lackey facing Benintendi, who strokes that one deep toward the alley. That one's sailing way out there. Back it goes. Gone! He crushed it. Red Sox up 4-2. Their second home run today off Lackey.
Well, I'll tell you what, the one Hanley hit was like in another zone. This one was in the zone just below that. This was an absolute rocket by Benintendi. Right from contact, right there. I mean, that's a line shot into that bullpen area, over the bullpen.
His third home run of the season, his second in as many days. And Mookie Betts now 0 for 2. I was talking with Andrew downstairs today, and he just sort of leaned back in his chair. We were talking about the home run issue, and basically he said there is no issue. This club's going to hit home runs. He believes it. Everybody in that clubhouse believes the Red Sox are going to hit plenty of home runs. Showing up a bit today with 2 of them. Cut on and missed, and Mookie Betts retired on a strikeout. Stay right here after the 3rd out of this inning for a special behind-the-scenes look at what happens in between innings. So here comes Andy Ramirez, last time up, a 469-foot home run, the longest in the majors so far this year, here at the end of April. And a mammoth blast. Went for it again, but boy, that swing back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, this will be one that'll be on tapes for a long time. That is a monster shot there by Hanley Ramirez. That's out of any ballpark in the big leagues and some.
And the 0-1. In for a strike. Hanley didn't like that one. The longest at Fenway the last 3 years. And topped the one he hit last year that went 468. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts from Lackey.
That's good pitching by Lackey. You know, he gets that high fastball call for a strike up and in. Then he goes to that slider on the outside part of the plate. Excellent pitch here by Lackey. Finishes about 3 or 4 inches outside. Looks like a strike and disappears.
Moreland next. He has walked and scored and also lined out sharply to Rizzo. Lackey's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Number 84 is fouled away. Four runs, 7 hits for the Red Sox. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Cubs. Red Sox trying to win the first 2 here. Oh, 2.
Lackey's had a good changeup today. He's had a lot of them down and away from those left-handed hitters. Remember the one Bradley fouled off, though, and then followed with the base hit to drive in a run.
The 6'6" right-hander with an 0-2. Into the shift, and there's Obrist from shallow right field. That will do it, but Benintendi spanks a home run, and the Red Sox are up 4-2. Don't go anywhere as we stay inside the park.
Sync Sox games with your desktop or mobile calendar. The official downloadable schedule from the home of the Boston Red Sox is now available at NESN.com/schedule. Get up-to-the-minute game previews, links to Red Sox stories, and the latest ticket information. The calendar is compatible with all of your devices.
And the Red Sox win it.
So you can get reminders next to your meetings and never miss a game. The 2017 Red Sox downloadable schedule. Go to NESN.com/schedule to add the full season to your calendar today.
does underwater stunts, Sylvia. Except me, of course. This is my stunt. Adios.
If you're a stuntman, you cheat death. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
It's obvious they were meant for each other. Always side by side, but never together. Forever trapped in the friend zone. Until finally, they got together at Taco Bell.
Check it out.
I'm talking about the taco and burrito. Double the seasoned beef, fresh lettuce and tomatoes, shredded cheese, and crunchy chips. The new loaded taco burrito, just $1.49, only at Taco Bell.
Announcing the New England Edition F-150, a special edition of the #1 selling trucks in New England. With brawn, brains, and beauty. Just like the region that inspired it. Now get more tough for your buck with a just announced lease of only $219 a month for the New England Edition F-150.
Red Sox with a 4-2 lead as we go to the 6th inning. Cubs got 2 runs last frame on a shot by Rizzo, 2-run homer after Bryant had doubled, and Bryant will lead things off here. He's hit safely in 10 straight games and a very dangerous hitter, even if he doesn't have a 10-game hitting streak. National League most valuable player last year. He's having a heck of a road trip. Getting about 400 on this road trip.
And right now on a 10-game hitting streak.
Cubs will be heading home to take on the Phillies and the Yankees. And the 1-1. Down the line, that one stroked. That'll keep on rolling. Benintendi will play it off the fence. Right off the wall, and Bryant has his second double. He is 2 for 3 today.
Yeah, he's such a good hitter. I mean, that ball's down and in, and he's able to keep it in foul territory. You watch the location of this pitch, how it drops down and in, and watch the hands come inside the baseball, and he's able to hook that ball and keep it fair. A lot of guys will pull that ball in foul territory, but with his type of swing, he's able to keep it in fair territory for the double.
So it brings up Rizzo, who's belted a 2-run homer. He's also been thrown out on a ground ball to the pitcher. And that one boxed around and gets away from Vasquez. Bryant's going to move up. The throw won't get him. So that'll be a pass ball. And it puts a man 90 feet away for Chicago.
Yeah, that's a strange one, too, because it didn't seem all that difficult to handle for Vasquez. He just clanked off the webbing of his glove. Still tries to make the throw, but no chance, obviously. Let's see if there's any late movement on this knuckleball. Drops down a little bit, but that's one he'll catch the majority of the time.
Just squirted out of that mitt. And it was a strike on Rizzo, so the count 0-1. Big cut and a foul back. Been so windy today that flag in center field is wrapped around the pole. Right now, at least at the moment, not as gusty. Nobody out, a runner at third in the 0-2. Popped in a shallow left. Benintendi makes the play, and the runner's going to hold at third base as the throw is on target to home plate.
There's nothing you can do as a runner at third base except you tag up and try to draw a bad throw. You're not going to be able to score from this, so you go back, you tag up, you hope that the outfielder makes a bad throw to the plate and you're able to score, but you have no intentions of scoring. Good block on the other end of that by Vasquez. Just a fake, draw a throw, hope it's a bad one.
is Zobrist. He has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2 today. He's been at odds with the home plate umpire Bill Welke on a couple of occasions. And he'll look at a strike.
Very first at bat in the first inning, he was not happy with that call right there. He thought it was too high. And that conversation continued in his next at bat.
And the 0-1 pitch. Into the shift. That'll chase in a run. Pedroia up and over to get him as Bryant scores. And it's a 1-run game again. That'll make it 4-3. Zobrist will pick up his 10th RBI. He's a very smart hitter.
Yeah, very good contact right there. You know, you got the infield playing back. The only place that runner at third is not going to score is a ball back to the pitcher or maybe the third baseman. So you make contact, get the ball on the ground, get a run home. You're trying for more, but you have a productive out.
Now the base is empty for Jason Hayward. He's popped up and taken ball 4. 4-3 game. Red Sox up by a run. Cubs in this inning, a leadoff double by Bryant. Got him over and they got him in. It was a pass ball, of course. Frankly, there have been very few of those when Wright has pitched this year to the Red Sox catchers. It's not been a big part of the storyline for him.
It really hasn't. They've both done a very good job back there.
Oh, 2. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets with the best seats at the lowest prices with a 200% guarantee. Ace Ticket is seats starting at only $39 for tomorrow night's game against the Cubs. Visit aceticket.com now or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. 8 o'clock start tomorrow night. Here's the 0-2 home. Sox will have due up in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pedroia, Bradley, and Vasquez. Two and 2. Since Stephen Wright became a full-time starter in July of 2015, his record is 16-10. 1-2 so far this season. There's a bullet up the middle for a base hit. So Hayward on for the second time.
That ball just stayed kind of flat over the middle of the plate for Wright, and Hayward jumps all over it. So he's walked. He's got this base hit. Not much knuckle to that knuckleball. Just pretty flat.
Now Addison Russell. He's flied out 2 times. Once to center, once to right. Red Sox with a 4-3 lead in the 6th. Russell, a talented young shortstop. Last year got a National League All-Star bid at the age of 22. The youngest player in Cubs history to start the Midsummer Classic. That dives downstairs to make it 2-0. No activity yet in the Red Sox bullpen. Wright is up to 93 pitches. A base hit here by Russell, and you may see some activity. Two down and a 2-0. That's a strike.
It looked like a curveball that time from Stephen Wright. One of the, maybe the only one he's thrown today. I think it was a curveball. Let's take another look and see what the rotation looks like. Yeah, it is. Curveball spin.
He's gone to 3-1 on Russell. Miguel Montero on deck. Hayward at first. 3-1 pitch. A A strike.
That surprised him right there. He threw him a fastball on the 3-1 pitch.
Wright's pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5 2/3. Only one walk. He's at good command of it. The Red Sox for the first time are going to get somebody warming up in the bullpen. 3-2 runner goes. Hard hit. Hernandez, bit of a bad hop, but he handles that and he gets him. Another run for Chicago as they pull closer now. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Red Sox 4 and the Cubs 3. And the rest of America run on Dunkin' because Dunkin' iced coffee is consistently smooth and delicious. Dunkin' Donuts coffee #1 in New England. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'. Bottom of the 6th inning coming up. 4-3. Red Sox in front. It'll be Pedroia, Bradley, Vasquez against John Lackey. Dustin Pedroia first at bat, rifled a single to left. He's also grounded to short. It's a little tough to do the housekeeping with a wind kicking up like this. He finally got to it.
Now's the time to pop one to right field, right? Wow.
And Lackey delivers inside for a ball. John Lackey certainly had his ups and downs with the Red Sox. His first year in 2010, he went 14-11. Good start. The next year he pitched hurt for a big chunk of that year. He was 12-12, but he had a 6.41 ERA. It wasn't until after the season ended that anybody found out he had a torn ligament in that elbow. He had been pitching with it. Missed all of 2012 to recover. Came back. Went 10-13 with a 3.52 ERA in 2013 and pitched very, very well in the postseason. He was a key man. Then he went 11-7 the following year before he was traded to St. Louis. Red Sox got big time pitching throughout that October and had David Ortiz. Fly ball well struck, headed for the wall, off the monster. Pedroia wants second base. The throw, he dives in and got him on the chest with a tag, and he is out. So Pedroia cut down. First out here in the 6th.
Yeah, we've seen Pedroia try that slide a number of times. It's like a swim slide. Very good job here by John Jay, playing it off the wall, gets it back in. Pedroia, now watch him reach, take his arm away, and then try to come back, but the tag gets on the chest before the hand gets back in. Trying to reach over the tag and grab the bag.
Zobrist lunging to get him. Jackie Bradley with a fair ball. Rizzo wants to toss to Lackey for the second out. 2 up, 2 down. Jackie now 1 for 3 today. Vasquez will be next. Christian today 1 for 2 with a single. Keep that average up there at 483.
A lot of times when there's a couple of quick outs like that, you'll see a hitter take his time, get into the batter's box, spend a little extra time in the on-deck circle, step out, take a swing, and maybe take a strike to give his pitcher a little bit more time to rest in the dugout. That's exactly what Vasquez is doing there. It's been a quick inning.
And Pedroia attacking right away and then thrown out 7-4. Bradley with a first pitch swing, grounded out. Knocked down by Lackey. Now he has to chase it. Off balance and a bang bang play, but he got him at first base. Good recovery by John Lackey. It's a fast inning nonetheless. 3 Red Sox up and down. 4-3 Boston. Is brought to you by Lexus and the Lexus Strikes Out Hunger program. As Montero swings, it's a high deep drive right field. That may go back to the stands and gone. Montero, his second home run of the season. He has tied the game. Now the ball is flying at Fenway today.
Now we were talking between innings. I was a little bit surprised to see Wright come out here for the 7th inning. I thought that 6 would be it. He had pitched well. Go to the bullpen. First pitch, knuckleball, gone. Very flat. Didn't do very much.
Rizzo had homered in the 4th inning. There's a mile-high pop-up, and there's Bogarts underneath it. And Xander will put that away to retire Almora. Now Robbie Scott is loosening in the bullpen. Get the feeling this was going to be the last inning anyway for Wright.
I actually thought the end of the 6th was going to be the last inning.
You did?
I did, yeah.
I like your idea better at this point. As the Cubs have tied it, John Jay will step in next. He's hit into a double play and fly to center. That one sliced down the line. Benintendi on the move, and that's going to drop in fair and bounce back to the left fielder into second base with a double as Jay. So now the Red Sox can't get him out fast enough.
Now you've got to go to the bullpen. Lefty coming to the plate. This ball slicing right down the line, ends up in fair territory. Very quickly, that potential go-ahead run in scoring position at second base.
So that does it for Wright. Out he comes, leaving behind a runner at second. The go-ahead run. Robbie Scott coming in. We'll take the break and be back with more at Fenway in just a moment. By Lexus and the Lexus Strikes Out Hunger program. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. Subaru Retailers of New England. Sullivan Tire and Complete Auto Service. And by True Green, America's #1 professional lawn care company. Start today. Live life outside.
Now this is, John Lackey never wants to come out of a game. Joe Madden going through every possible scenario there is to try to convince him that it's time. They eventually shake hands, and that's going to be it for Lackey. But Lackey is always one to question about coming out of a game. Doesn't like it at all.
Well, the Cubs have to go ahead run at second base. So, I mean, he could still win the game. Schwarber, the batter, he's 0 for 3, has struck out 2 times and flied out to left. And again, he's fanned 6 times already in the series. For the year, he's 3 for 18 with runners in scoring position. But he has John Jay out there with 1 away. And it's 0-2.
I'll tell you right now, that sun is shining, and it's very, very tough for Mookie Betts and Pedroia at second base, Moreland at first. They're all seeing that sun shine right in their eyes.
And a left-hand hitter up there who has power. Montero has tied it with the 4th home run in the game by the 2 clubs. Loop towards center field. Bogaerts can't get it. Here comes the run. Here comes the throw home. Won't get him. Not a good throw. And the Cubs have taken the lead 5-4.
How about that contact right there? I mean, that's hitting a tough pitch. That's a breaking ball away from Schwarber and down, and he's able to somehow reach out, make contact, and drop that ball in the outfield. That ball's 4 inches off the outside part of the plate and drops it in for the base hit. So that quickly, this game is turned around. That's a very good read also at second base by Jay. He knew that ball was not going to be caught, was off and running.
So Scott steps out. The Cubs have the lead. Ben Taylor coming on to face Chris Bryant. Charge that last run and close the book on Wright as he gives up 5, and the Cubs are up by 1. TC, thank you very much. 1-0 to count on Bryant. Ben Taylor's back with a big club, inheriting a runner at first base, 1 out. Cubs have surged into the lead on a home run, a double, and a single. The 2 runs in the inning charged to Stephen Wright, who was sent back out there for the 7th. He allowed the leadoff homer, and out later the double by Jay. And Scott just gave up the RBI single, but that run is charged to Stephen Wright, so he gave up 5 in 6 1/3, and he's on the hook. And that'll miss outside. So the count goes to 3-0, and a dangerous Chris Bryant, who's doubled twice.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he has the green light on the 3-0 count.
So for the first time today, the Red Sox looking up at the Cubs. And didn't like it. I guess it's in there for a strike. 3-1. Well, John Farrell electing to bring Wright out for the 7th. And now the Red Sox manager needs a rally, and that's in there for a strike. He had dropped the bat, started up toward first base.
Yeah, 2 close pitches to run the count back to 3-2. This one just barely picking up the outside corner.
Schwarber on at first. And the 3-2 pitch. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plainridge Park Casino. TC, Dennis Eckersley, and Steve Lyons will preview Rodriguez' start tomorrow against the Cubs. He's coming off a really strong effort against the Orioles. And the payoff pitch.
Oh!
He did not get the call, and it's ball 4.
I don't want to beg, but my goodness. That's a good pitch. Right at the bottom of the strike zone, knee high. And you got to have that one.
And 94 miles an hour. Not sure how Bryant took that, but it's ball 4, first and second. Here comes Anthony Rizzo, who's belted a home run today. He's gone 1 for 3. Cubs fans are springing to life around Fenway. And Taylor deals outside, ball 1.
Right now he's having trouble getting his slider over. He's thrown about 3 or 4 of them, and they haven't been able to bin strikes.
Rizzo belting his 6th home run of the season in the 4th inning. Schwarber at second, Bryant at first here in the 7th inning, and 2 runs in for the Cubs to take a 5-4 lead. And now he wants Vasquez to come out.
Take another look at the Rizzo home run back in the 4th inning. Knuckleball comes right back into his power zone, and Wright knows it.
Taylor home with a 1-0. That's a strike at 93. They got that call, but he did not get the one at the knee.
Yeah, the big call, 3-2 count.
One ball and 1 strike. Zobrist on deck. 2-1.
Now Rizzo can just sit on a fastball right here on the 2-1 count. He's missing with a slider. He missed that time with the changeup. You would think fastball here.
And Taylor's 2-1. Hit hard. Snagged by Moreland to second. Got one out there back to first. It gets by Taylor. Here comes the run. It hits the side wall and a run scores. And the Red Sox are throwing it around. It's off into the outfield. And man, did that get ugly as the throw comes home. Another run is in to make it 6-4. Red Sox throwing it all around the ballpark.
Well, what a mess this is. I mean, this ball's a rocket by Rizzo, first of all. Moreland makes the play. Now he's got to get it to the pitcher. The pitcher is, I wouldn't say late breaking to first base, but the fact is, you can see right there he hesitates. And so Bogaerts is trying to time the throw to him. It gets by him, and now it's do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do as the ball just flying all over the ballpark. There's going to be a couple of errors on that play.
No question. Rizzo winds up all the way down at third base.
There's the play at second base. Now Bogaerts is trying to see where the pitcher is and lead him to the bag. It goes behind him. That's one error. The second error is by Moreland throwing the ball into left field.
Zobrist, the batter, he's 0 for 3.
You see, Taylor hesitated, and by the time he got going to first base, he could not get there in time and stretch out like a first baseman. So Bogaerts tried to lead him to the bag. The throw went behind him, and then the throws are going everywhere.
Yeah, that was a comedy of errors. Red Sox have committed 3 today. 6-4 Chicago. Cubs have scored 3 times in this inning. So an error on Bogaerts, an error on Moreland. And the 0-2. Moreland off to a bit of a tough defensive start with the Red Sox. He's made 3 errors.
That's very unusual for him. Gold Glove first baseman.
Made two of those all of last year. And the 0-2. Zobrist, very pesky, drove in a run with a ground out in the 6th inning. Stay on top of the latest Red Sox news with NESN's free Red Sox text alerts. Breaking news, in-game alerts. NESN will make sure you know you are in the know. To sign up, go to Red Sox 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Popped up into left. Benintendi to mercifully put that inning away, but it was the ugliest inning of the season so far for the Red Sox, probably, and the Cubs lead it 6-4. Question before winning the pennant in 1967. When was the last time the Red Sox had advanced to the World Series? And 86% of you said 1946, which is correct. We've had some blowouts in these polls.
Yeah, they haven't been close lately.
6-4. The Cubs in the lead. The Red Sox with a big helping hand. Here comes Koji Uehara. And just now being announced here at Fenway in his return to Boston. The now 42-year-old former closer. Spent the last 4 years with the Red Sox. And of course had a spectacular season in 2013 when he saved 21 games. Had a 1.09 ERA and a 4-1 record. And man, was he fun to watch. The Red Sox are trying to get him now, trying to score off him. Marco Hernandez will lead off here in the bottom of the 7th. Red Sox trying to collect themselves after a very messy top of the 7th. Hey, John Lackey can win the game.
Yep.
He went 6. Charged with 4 runs, 8 hits, but he can get the win. Line shot caught by Rizzo, a couple of steps to his right for out number 1.
That's what Lackey does. You know, I mean, he'll keep you in a ball game and give you a chance to win. That's just what he does. He's done it his whole career.
Echo Store Technologies has donated $50 for every Red Sox hit this season to the Greg Hill Foundation, committed to improving the lives of local families affected by tragedy. Echo Store has decided to go above and beyond and donate $12,500 to the Greg Hill Foundation. Echo Store Technologies, your data center solutions provider.
That was the fastball from Koji at 88. Same stuff, 88-mile-an-hour fastball, a lot of splitters.
Inside, almost got him. Xander 1 for 3 with a triple and a run. Triple over the head of Hayward in the 3rd inning. And then Andrew Benintendi, who has a couple RBIs today, drove him in. Again in tight.
Well, that's unusual. 3 straight fastballs.
Again, classic Koji in terms of the velocity, about 88. Two-one. Foul back. Benintendi on deck. Red Sox with two big flies today, one by Hanley Ramirez, the other by Andrew Benintendi. The Cubs have hit two. Rizzo and Montero. Liner into left. Jay there. 2 down. Time now for the road ahead, presented by People's United Bank. And after tomorrow night's game, the finale with the Cubs, the Orioles are here for 4, and then the Red Sox take to the road. Benintendi with a ground out, a sac fly to drive in 1, and then the homer to right center. He bluffs a bunt, takes a strike. Nobody on, 2 down. And the count 0-2.
I'm actually seeing more fastballs this inning from Koji than splits.
Well, still a hard wind out toward right field.
Now we'll see the split.
You see players doing a lot of this, picking up garbage, hot dog wrappers, sticking them in the back pocket, but there's a real jet stream out there to right center. If a lefty hitter can take advantage of it. He cannot. Down he goes, strike 3, and that does it for the Red Sox. They go in order. We move on to the 8th. Cubs on top, 6-4. Mobile, the Red Sox bullpen entering today with 8 saves. Of course, those are all Craig Kimbrell. 3 homers allowed, a 2.27 ERA. And it was a big part of last night's victory, working 5 different guys. Ben Taylor working into his 2nd inning as we start the 8th. Taking on Hayward, who has gone 1 for 2 with a single. So the Red Sox down after throwing the baseball around and allowing 3 runs in the 7th and giving up the lead. Addison Russell on deck, and then Miguel Montero, who has homered. Each side with 8 hits. And Ben Taylor with a 1-1. Hector Rondon loosening in the bullpen for Chicago. Koji, to no one's surprise, worked very quickly. Got 3 fast outs. They look like vintage Koji Uehara.
Yeah, I think in that inning he threw 7 fastballs and 4 splits.
He is 42 years old as of the 3rd of April. And Taylor's 3-1. Popped up. Right side, Moreland and Pedroia there. Moreland wants it. A couple of steps onto the grass for out number 1. And Koji with the high fives. Remember when he first started doing that with the Red Sox, when he first came, most of the dugout was shocked.
Yeah, it was shocking. But we came very much used to seeing that.
The look on Madden's face was priceless when he pounced on everybody after that. Flared toward right. Betts has it sized up for the 2nd out. Well, tonight after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we have the latest from the NFL draft in Philly and a preview of the Celtics' 2nd round matchup against the Wizards. NESN Sports Today presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. So the base is empty. 2 down for Montero, who has ripped a home run. He's also struck out and flied out. Home run is 2nd of the year. And at the time that tied the game 4-4. Cubs added a couple more and now lead it 6-4. And Taylor home with a 1-0 pitch. A strike. Lexus making a pledge to strike out hunger. Every time a Sox pitcher strikes out a Cubs player, Lexus donates $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. Fouled off the catcher Vasquez. Now Mora, the center fielder, would hit next if given the opportunity. Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th inning have Betts, Hanley Ramirez, and Mitch Moreland due up. Mookie's the man in sunshine in right field.
Very, very difficult out there right now. He's the only guy left in that bright sunshine.
2-2. A full count on Montero. Yankees beat up on the Orioles 12-4 today after winning 14-11 last night. And the 3-2. Don't miss NESN Live weeknights at 5:30. Catch the latest on your favorite New England sports teams with NESN Live, presented by Cross Insurance. Three-two coming. Stephen Wright went 6 1/3, charged with 5 runs, and he's on the hook right now. His first 6 innings were pretty solid. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and up the middle for a solid single. So Montero is 2 for 4. Now Mora will be next. He's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Now into the evening. And his 9 hits for Chicago. Mora with a base hit in the 3rd. Same 2 clubs tomorrow night at 8:05. Eduardo Rodriguez against Kyle Hendricks, a lefty righty duel. There's a strike on Almora. Montero aboard with 2 down. Hard ground ball gets by Hernandez. He tried to make a sliding play, but he couldn't do it. They're going to be safe at first and second.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that'll go as a base hit. You know, Hernandez going to his left, and that ball looked like it bounced up over the glove. Let's take another look. Actually, off to the side of the glove. That's questionable, that one. That could go either way.
If it winds up as an error, it would be the 4th of the day. We'll see how they rule on it. John Jay will be the hitter. That is going to be an error. And a bad defensive day for the Red Sox. Jay has gone 1 for 3, that double, and he scored in the 7th inning.
Now that's an area of the game the Red Sox have to improve in, without a doubt. You know, they came into the game 12th in the league in errors.
Fastball a miss. Two and 0 on Jay. But they brought in for some leadership in the clubhouse. Remember, they lost David Ross to retirement and Dancing with the Stars. I confess I have not seen a minute of that.
I've actually seen him dance on that, and he wasn't too bad. He had the day I saw it, and I've only seen him once. He had very high scores. I think he had a couple of 8s.
The 3-0 pitch, and that's going to be ball 4, and the bases are loaded. All of this happening with 2 down. A single, an error, a walk, and Carl Willis is coming out with Schwarber about to dig in. Fernando Abad, who was very impressive last night, starts to loosen up in the pen. So Taylor allowed the single to Montero. Mora reaching on the error by Hernandez. Now Jay works a walk. Monday at 6, don't miss Red Sox First Pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Steve Lyons preview the Red Sox next series against the Orioles, starting on Monday. No place to put Schwarber now, who singled in a run in the 7th. He's also struck out twice and flied to left. So Montero at third, Almora at second, Jay at first. And he flies that one to left field. Benintendi back on the track. He's there to make the catch and retire the side. They leave him loaded. We head to the last half of the 8th at Fenway. 6-4 Cubs. FranklinSports.com/custom. Enter the code NESSON20 to receive 20% off at checkout. Franklin proud to be the official batting glove of Major League Baseball. Now a couple of changes for Chicago as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Zobrist moves from second to left field. And Baez now takes over at second base for the Cubs. And Hector Rondon is the new pitcher. He was with them last year, appearing in 54 games. So far a very strong start through his first 9 for Joe Madden this year. Red Sox down by 2 here in the 8th. Betts, Ramirez, Moreland will try and do something about that against Rondon. Quiet day so far for Mookie. He's 0 for 3. He'll look at ball 1. Betts with a tapper to second, fly to center, and strikeout. Hanley Ramirez on deck. Has hit a huge home run in this game. It went 469 feet. 1-1.
96 on that fastball from Rondon.
Game within the stands as the fans go back and forth with chants. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the 6'3" right-hander firing and fouled back in a big cut. He'd love that one back.
Good pitch to hit right there for Mookie. Just fouled it straight back. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. When Mookie's on target, he hits that ball hard someplace.
Two on the way. A full count. Mookie leading the majors with 1.60 walks per strikeout. So again, rarely strikes out. And that string of 129 consecutive plate appearances. Driven in the air left field. Zobrist already turning. A wall ball. Betts takes a big turn and another good throw into second base. Good decision by Betts to settle for the single.
Yeah, we've seen a couple today that have gone off that wall and quickly getting the ball back in on the Cubs. They got Pedroia earlier in the game at second base, but Betts holds into a single right there, trailing by a couple of runs.
Time for our play to bank on, presented by Capital One. Banking reimagined. His home run gone instantaneously. He didn't even pause to admire that, as it was hit almost to the pike. And it kisses for everyone after he kissed it goodbye. So here comes Hanley for the 4th time today. 1 for 3.
It's interesting. You can see Rizzo at first base. He was telling his catcher to close his legs a little closer because Betts, kind of peeks in for those signs.
Nobody out. Mookie aboard at first. And it's 2-0.
That's pretty heads up play by Rizzo to really do that. Get attention to the catcher. They just gave him motion. Put your legs together closer because we don't want him peeking in to see those signs.
Rizzo, of course, came up in the Red Sox minor league system, battled cancer, won that fight, and he has flourished into a real star with the Cubs. He's homered today.
That's what I was talking about. Look at Rizzo tell the catcher right here. Hey, let me get your attention. Close it up a little bit. They can see him.
Good count for Ramirez, the 2-0. And he's taking in there for a strike.
That's a slider on the 2-0 count that time.
Yeah, he was thinking fastball. Greg Kimbrell is up in the Sox pen. Saved his 8th game last night. But the Sox are down by a couple here in the 8th. Three and one. Rondon would have gotten a pretty good view of Hanley Ramirez's home run from the Cubs bullpen. He knows how far it went. Longest in the majors this year. Ground ball is Russell to second, one on to first, dropped. So safe at first base, Hanley Ramirez, as Rizzo could not close the glove. Out number 1 as Betts is erased at second.
That's a break for the Red Sox. I thought what Russell was going to do is take this himself. And it almost looked like Baez was surprised. The ball was dropped at first base by Rizzo. So no double play. But I actually thought that Addison Russell was going to take that ground ball, touch second himself, and then go to first.
Baez had to go airborne for the throw.
Let's see how far away he is. Yeah, I thought he could have ran up and tagged that bag, and Baez ended up making an off-balance throw, but still could have been handled by Rizzo at first base.
Came out of his glove. Of course, no error there. You cannot assume a double play. And here's Moreland. He's walked, lined out, and grounded out. Shift on for him. Hits are even at 9. Cubs with a 6-4 lead here in game 2. Justin Grimm getting active in the Cub bullpen. Kimbrell still throwing in the Red Sox pen. Broken back ground ball. Rizzo to second. Out there on to first and out there. Red Sox hit into a double play. So nothing doing here in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. 6-4 Chicago. Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by Xfinity. As we move to the 9th inning, Lackey can win it. Bryant 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles. He's about to lead off here in the 9th inning. Stephen Wright would be on the hook for the loss. 6 1/3, 5 earned. Benintendi with his 3rd home run. Henry Ramirez with a home run. And so far not enough. Red Sox have committed 4 errors. Worst defensive game of the year, certainly, for Boston. Bryant doubled in the 4th and scored, doubled in the 6th and scored, walked and scored in the 7th. So he's a real motor in their offense. Taylor working into his 3rd inning. And Abad behind him. They've got their closer Wade Davis now throwing. And the 0-2 to Bryant. And he takes it for strike 3. John Farrell's made the move now, so he'll bring on the left-hander for Rizzo. So a pitching change here at Fenway. Red Sox trailing 6-4 here in the middle game of the series. We'll take the break as well and be back with more in just a moment. By Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garen Austin with you from Fenway. Red Sox with work to do. They're down 6-4. 1 out, top of the 9th inning. John Farrell dips to the bullpen and brings in Fernando Abad, who protected a 1-run lead last night.
He had a good night last night for the Red Sox. Couple big strikeouts with his changeup in that game.
He struck out Caesar and Schwarber to end the 8th inning and stranded 2 men in a game the Red Sox would win 5-4. He's brought in to take on Anthony Rizzo, who's belted a home run. He's 1 for 4 today. After going 2 for 4 with a home run, 4 RBIs on Wednesday. So on this road trip that the Cubs are on, he has homered 5 times. One down here in the 9th inning. He'll take ball 1. Last night, without question, the high water mark for Abad in a Red Sox uniform.
Yeah, high stress situation for him last night.
And a 1-0. And his ball 2. Abad has only faced Rizzo on 1 occasion. Struck him out. He's fallen behind here with the bases empty and a 2-0. He goes to ball 3. Zobrist next. Occasionally that wind really starts kicking again. Most every time out to right field. Here's the 3-0. Taking all the way a strike at 92.
Very strong all day long here at Fenway Park. So the bullpen there is.
Three and one on Rizzo. He's hit 6 home runs already this season. In for a strike. Abad trying to come all the way back from 3-0 to retire the Cubs' number 3 hitter. And the left-hander comes set. 3-2. High fly ball twisting into center field, so he does come back and puts him away. 2 down. Monday is Hanley Ramirez chain night at Fenway. First 12,000 fans in attendance will get one. Presented by Gold's Pure Foods. For tickets and more information, visit redsox.com/promos.
No El Trece?
I wanted you to do it. You're so good at it. The whole truck was waiting for you to do it. Here's Zobrist. He lays into one. High fly, well hit. That's going to keep on carrying, and she is gone. And that will make it a tougher fight. A home run for Zobrist. That'll make it 7-4 Chicago.
Well, the anger of Zobrist earlier in the game at the umpire has changed to joy here in the 9th inning. He gets the fastball from Abad, and he takes it up off the National Car Rental sign. Very short stroke for Zobrist, both from the left side and the right side.
Number 3 for him. And he's driven in 2 runs in this one. Here's Hayward. He has popped up, walked, single, and popped up again. 1 for 3. Sox have Pedroia, Bradley, Vasquez due up in the last of the 9th inning. And Madden's going to bring his closer in, Davis, for that. He is all warmed up. 7 runs, 10 hits for Chicago, 4 runs on 9 hits, and 4 errors for the Red Sox. And the 0-2 pitch. High and tight, knocked that helmet off his head. It's the helmet with that flap to protect that jaw of his, which was fractured by a pitch many years ago.
That's one thing about Abad. You know, he's not afraid to go inside. No balls, 2 strikes, up and in. See if he follows up with a breaking ball now away.
Two men out and nobody on base in a 1-2.
No breaking ball, a fastball, but to the outside part of the plate.
Stephen Wright pitched into the 7th inning. Although I think that's going to be debated afterwards. He gave up 5 runs. Right now, Stephen would take the loss. His first 6 innings, he was really good. And a 1-2 pitch. Robbie Scott came on, and Ben Taylor. Now Fernando Abad. And a 2-2 to Hayward. Cut on and missed. He strikes him out, but a home run by Zobrist has put the Cubs in front 7-4 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning at Fenway. by a Franklin family batting glove member. Franklin Sports is donating to the Red Sox Foundation's RBI program to help revitalize baseball and softball in the inner cities. We take a look at the leaderboard for Franklin family RBI leaders. Red Sox coming up here in the last of the ninth inning now. They'll do it against Wade Davis, the right-handed closer. He was acquired from Kansas City, where he was awfully good for the Royals the last several years, formerly of Tampa Bay, so Madden knows him very well. And he has converted his first 5 save chances. Well, this qualifies as another one. Cubs with a 3-run advantage. Pedroia to lead it off. He's got 2 for 3. He'll be followed by Jackie Bradley and then Christian Vasquez, the scheduled hitters against Davis. It works from the stretch all the time. Little trickler. Mishandled. Knocked around, and Pedroia's on. Should probably be a base hit.
Yeah, it will be a base hit, and it's probably one that Davis should have let go by him and let Chris Bryant make the play on. Watch where Bryant comes now. He's going to be in a good position to make that play, probably on a bounce. But Davis cuts in front of him to make it a more difficult play.
Infield single for Pedroia.
The Red Sox will take base runners any way they can get them here in the ninth.
Pedroia 3 for 4. Looks like getting his timing back. He's hit some rockets today too, but that one a fortunate hit. Here's Jackie Bradley looking at a strike. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single. 2 for 2 in his career against this right-hander. Red Sox trying to rally in the bottom of the ninth. In tight for a ball. 1-1. Davis was a staple for the Kansas City Royals. Outstanding in their bullpen for a long time. Here's the 1-1.
A nasty cut fastball right there at 93 miles an hour. Down out of the strike zone.
No Sunfield any longer. One-two coming. That one ate him up. A swing and a miss, strike 3. Jackie Fanning for the second time today, and one man gone in the ninth.
Cut fastball to a curveball on time to pick up the strikeout. There you see the curveball spin, bouncing.
Vasquez next. Christian today 1 for 3 with a base hit. And batting .467. Marco Hernandez on deck. Red Sox have reached double digits in hits, each side with 10 hits. He's got plenty of giddy up on that fastball, and there's strike 1.
Yeah, that's the highest velocity he's featured so far, 96.
Davis last year for the Royals saved 27 games. Pitched in 2 World Series with KC. Runner goes, and a pitch outside. They'll allow Dustin Pedroia to take second base.
Yeah, they're just giving it to him. They've got a 3-run lead. Rizzo playing way behind him. If they're going to give it to you, you might as well take it. Stay away from a double play to end the game.
No stolen base awarded there. Defensive indifference. But he's at second with 1 away. So Vasquez trying to pick him up. It would be his 5th RBI of the young season. Davis is 1-1. And that breaking ball again, but inside. 2-1 coming. 3-1. So a hitter's count for Christian Vasquez. See if he gets something to drive here on 3-1 from Davis. He liked that pitch, 95, but it's now 3-2.
Yeah, good pitch, but a little bit overpowering with the fastball that time, and foul straight back by Vasquez.
Toronto beat Tampa Bay 4-1. Yankees all over the Orioles 12-4. That's a final. Dustin Pedroia leading off second base with 1 gone, and the 3-2 now to Vasquez. And he got him on a swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts by the right-hander, and 2 away in the 9th.
That last fastball at 97 miles an hour. So he has increased his velocity with almost every fastball he's thrown in this inning.
So it's up to Marco Hernandez to try and continue things for the Red Sox. Otherwise, the Red Sox and Cubs will split the first 2 games. And time is granted here. Hernandez getting out of the box quickly. Red Sox trying to rally, but there are 2 down. Trying to get the game to Xander Bogaerts, who's on deck. Strike 1. Seven to 4 Chicago in the bottom of the 9th. And Wade Davis from the set. 1-1. Montero would like a mound visit. If it ends 7-4, John Lackey picks up the win against his old team. Stephen Wright would take the loss, and Stephen would dip to 1-3. Red Sox have not played well on the defensive end. Have committed 4 errors. Hernandez with a double. Back in the 4th inning, 1 for 3, and the 1-1 pitch. Got a piece of it. 1-2. And now the Cub fans rising up around Fenway. Two down and the 1-2 coming. Chopper foul. Tomorrow night, the finale of this series. Eduardo Rodriguez against Kyle Hendricks at 8:05. Once again, a 1-2 offering. Liner but foul. And Hernandez being pesky here. Last fastball at 96. Again, a 1-2 coming. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. The Cubs win it 7-4, and they have evened up the series at 1 game apiece. each side with 10 hits. But a very sloppy day for the Red Sox, and the Cubs, they take advantage, TC.